Hello and welcome back to the PLP. It's one of the biggest days in the NLP calendar. The National League Prem debuting for the first time this season, and we've reached the semi-final stage of the playoffs. Two Craigs against two Toms to face off at Wembley during the draft weekend. And there's nothing really else to explain other than what's in front of you right there. Home ties for the two Craigs because they finished second and third, and that's the privilege they get. And we're heading firstly to, I think it's Trent Bridge that the NottinGiant boys play at. Doesn't look particularly familiar as a Trent Bridge that we know. And Mr. Daniels is up against Tom Gourlay, who's already navigated one round of the playoffs. And just before we get into the match itself, this carries a little extra weight because sadly Craig Daniels is bowing out of the PLP project at the end of this season. Absolutely fair enough, it's not for everybody. And so it doesn't really change my opinion on this game, not that I had one to begin with. If he wins and goes through, then actually it makes the NLP still hugely competitive next season, which is good. Because I'll be removing the drafted players, they'll become available again. It'll go down to sort of more the inherited lot, the initial Nottingham Forest B contingent competing. So there's that. But if he does stay down, then it's still okay for the final three that remain, so slightly less competitive, which is a bit of a shame, but at least it means that people are ascending, which is obviously the aim. And I can tell you all that because that first half was bilge. And actually it's the away team that looks the more threatening, if you can call that threatening, with no highlights. Unlike his mate Necruz, who we'll see in a bit, Gourlay managed to get the job done in the first round of the playoffs within 90 minutes. He's looked good in the first half here as well. But NottinGiant Forest, probably of all the teams, have carried the most form into the playoffs. I think they would have been my pick to have gone all the way, and they still are. This is a very tight game. For those that have just watched the final day of League One and the penultimate day of League Two, you'll know that I'm a couple of wines and a couple of beers to the good, so I can't be held entirely responsible for my narration of these two games. And the first of which is going to be elongated. Very little has happened in 90 minutes there. Something's happened now. MATTch, fourth goal of the season, has put him half an hour away from Wembley. Not the most obvious of heroes. Quite a canny draft pick, I thought, at the time. He's not played too frequently, but he's turned up massively here. Is Craig going to be exiting the PLP with a slight whimper? Or is there a blaze of glory still to be had? Good news for Moussa Niakate, he'll still be there. The captain, the penalty taker, Brian Clough's best mate. 15 minutes to hold on. To be honest, I did not pick out this result before the game. Thought if anything it would be the other semi-final that was a bit closer. Not because Gourlayverpool don't pack a punch, but NottinGiant have really been the form team other than Merseyside in the NLP since about March. Which doesn't sound a long time ago, but it's probably about 15 games. If anything, it's... Oh, what a goal! He's turned into vintage Henry out of nowhere. Picked up in his own half. I think Nigel Clough has killed people for defending like that in the past. But it's Maresca's lads that are heading to Wembley. And NottinGiant, who will soon be reformed as Nottingham Forest B, will remain in the NLP. Will it be his good friend, the other Tom, as I'm sure he calls him, that he faces this summer? June 27th, draft weekend, playoff final. Craig Trudgill, otbCraig, for so long we're running things in the NLP. Spent the first 23 games of the season unbeaten before the wheels quite severely came off. He rallied slightly in recent weeks, but I wouldn't say there's anything between these two teams coming into this match in terms of form, performances, ability. But that is one hell of a start. I'm not sure what Petrovic is doing, but Wilson, who's been a bit impotent since coming back from injury, has chosen the right time to get back on the score sheet. Great pass from Milano. Suspect defending. I'm not sure if that's Tom Lockyer. And Petrovic, I think, was just busy watching a big screen. I don't know if he spotted someone in the crowd. Long lost aunt. It is Lockyer again, who's been given the nod. It's a poor pass from another centre back. Bad passes from every centre-back, to be honest. And more horrendous goalkeeping. I mean, that's right up there. If Emi Buendia is scoring a header at any time, there's a problem. But I think Petrovic was actually having a lay-down before the cross even came in. He's just flopped. Oh dear, sorry Tom. Can't vouch for that. He's actually had a really good first half. 73% possession, the majority of shots. But two outrageous pieces of defending / goalkeeping. I've seen Mr. Trudgill on the cusp of a summer event. Petrovic, who's been pretty good all season, to be honest. It was quite a clever draft pick. Not sure if Mancini can rally the troops at half time, but it's the home team that have come out firing again in the second half, and that should be it. Callum Wilson hitting form at the exact right time. It's Sven's men having a party. Again, Van Hecker this time deciding to do the limbo instead of clear his lines. Offside. So in the NLP next season we've got Manchester staff who stay put, Liam's team, and they'll be joined by not John Scales. That's one player who will be hoping, well, maybe hoping to rise into League Two. So we'll have Nottingham Forest B in their reincarnation, and then the loser of otbCraig and Gourlayverpool, making it a 3-horse race for the NLP next season. I might see if I can get someone new involved to replace Craig. Anyone mental enough to join us on our wavelength? So it will be a shame the year after next, if it's still going by then. We'll have 2 teams going up next year. There might just be one solitary team fighting in the NLP on their own, which would be a bit of a shame. So it's the 2 Craigs against the 2 Toms, and the final will be 1 Craig against 1 Tom. We've had one of each. It'll be Gourlay and Trudgill facing off on June the 27th, NLP playoff final. We're guaranteed a newbie, that was always going to be the case. Callum Wilson picks up his hat-trick. And they will be the team to beat at Wembley during that draft weekend. Petrovic topping off an amazing game by actually diving through the net. Magical and horrendous in equal measure. Congratulations to Muff. Nothing else to go over there, other than seeing on the right hand side there the final, Gourlayverpool against otbCraig for a place alongside Merseyside Red in League 2 next season. LuTom will remain in the NLP alongside Manchester staff, and alongside the loser of that final, while NottinGiant Forest bow out. They've still got, I think, an FA Trophy final to look forward to, and that will be Craig's final involvement with the PLP. Sorry to see him go, but completely understand. But today is all about 1 Craig, Trudgill, 1 Tom, Gourlay, and the final games of this entire main part of the season will come up tomorrow or Monday, depending on when you're watching this. 3 League 2 games where the big match actually involves myself to try and knock Warringham out of the playoff reckoning. I'll see you then.